These are horrible statistics. Met Chief says millions of men are a danger to women and girls in England and Wales. And this is Sir Mark Rowley, who I'm not a massive fan of. And I'm not a fan of the way that he kind of brings this up, because there's a London policing board that's set up to determine how the Met, there's been a bunch of scandals with Met police officers in terms of attacks on women. And it seems like that's how this article reads anyway, that he's bringing up this report that hasn't come out yet, revealing the extent of violence, sexual violence and violence towards women and children, and most of it being carried out by men. And it feels like he's saying, oh, well, yes, there's lots of this police stuff, but actually it's everywhere and we can't really deal with it because there's just so much of it and we need to think about preventative stuff, which is all true, but it feels like it's coming off him trying to kind of defend...
Squid ink, I always call this. Squid ink. He's trying to create, or like the diffuse camouflage of a zebra.
So there is a problem.
Look, there's a whole flock of zebras. You're not going to be able to catch any one of them.
There is a problem here, a massive problem that does need to be dealt with in our society, but there's also, specifically within the police force, has to be dealt with.
And it's always the tactic whenever somebody is coming. It's like very much like the bathroom row that's been going on for years. Should trans women be allowed to use the ladies' bathrooms? And they go, well, it's not trans women are the issue. It's all biological males. You go, well, yes, but you can't just do you know what I mean? Like totally eradicate the particulars of a case. And just kind of go, what are we going to do? What do you want to do? Like, literally castrate the entire male population?
Oh, that's their next step. They're talking about it. They're telling us we've got microplastics in our testicles and they need to come off. Yes. They're talking now. The Guardian published an article, I think it was yesterday, saying you live longer if you have your testicles cut off.
I did see that.
Which is going to be, it's going to be difficult for them to find testicles on Guardian readers.
It's funny, 3 years ago, I think it was, I got into an interesting row. It didn't last for very long with a guy called Adam Rutherfield, who's a sort of geneticist and has written books about how to argue with a racist and things like this, quite left-wing at UCL. And he was in a row with Toby Young about whether or not lockdown was good for us. And Toby Young had posted a picture of a lion in a cage, kind of saying, be careful, what happens. And Rutherford was saying, actually, caged lions live longer. I was like, you're literally saying what I think is that. He kind of made out that he was tongue-in-cheek. But there is this kind of, I don't know, this obviously goes counter to the story, but we know that men's testosterone is roughly half what it was 50 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
And look at the state of society as a result.
Exactly, and I'm not saying, obviously, that we need to get it back up because men, a lot of people would associate male violence with testosterone, but then a lot of other people would say, when you have a society with strong men in it who are willing to take on the role of a patriarch who shows young men how to behave and so on, then that's, you have a better chance of teaching men. But as I say, until you drill down into the statistics and the particularities...
And the statistics are terrible in terms of 10% of 999 calls are for domestic abuse. Yeah. 30% of all violence. Is that what it is? Yeah. And 50% of violence suffered by women total is all about domestic violence. So this has to be dealt with.
Domestic violence, but I suppose my point is, there's always the 80-20 thing, right? The Pareto principle. 80% of the domestic violence will be 20% of the men, and so on. And you just want to know a little bit more detail rather than him just going, oh, it's men, innit? What can you do?
Yeah.